Hello everyone. In this chapter on the Indian Partnership Act, we've covered everything related to types of partners, types of partnerships, rights, duties, liabilities, and now we are moving towards dissolution of a partnership firm. Hello everyone, in this video we'll be taking a look at the concept of dissolution of a partnership firm. There is a difference between dissolution of partnership and dissolution of a partnership firm. Now, dissolution of partnership is a narrower concept when compared to dissolution of a partnership firm. What is meant by dissolution of partnership? When one partner decides to leave the firm, his partnership with other partners is dissolved. But when all the partners agree to bring an end to the partnership between them, that is known as dissolution of a partnership firm. Now, dissolution basically just puts into process the actual closure of a partnership firm. So it's a precursor to the closure of a partnership firm. So what are the modes of dissolution? Now you have a dissolution by agreement, that is under section 40. Now this provision is applicable both to particular partnerships and partnership at will. So when it is a particular partnership, obviously partners have come together for a particular purpose. Once that purpose or venture is fulfilled, they may go their separate ways, and that is predetermined. And in partnership at will, their partners may decide to bring the partnership to an end based on their free will whenever they feel like it. So that is under section 40. Then dissolution by notice, according to section 43(1), a partner may dissolve a firm by giving notice, written notice of his intention to do so to the other partners, and then the firm stands dissolved from the date mentioned on the notice of the date of dissolution, or if no date is mentioned, then it will be taken as from the date of communication of the notice. Now, compulsory dissolution, section 41. Now, in this type of dissolution, a firm stands dissolved if all the partners are declared as insolvent, or all except one partner are declared insolvent, or on the happening of any event which makes it unlawful for a firm to continue its business. Then partnership may be dissolved on the happening of certain contingencies. We'll be taking a look at it in the next slide. What are those contingencies? Then a firm may be dissolved by dissolution by the court, that is under section 44. We'll be taking a look at that also subsequently. Now, contingencies are usually the certain events which take place, and so what are those contingencies? A firm can be dissolved on the happening of these contingencies which are listed on the slide. That is, if it is being constituted for a fixed term, then when that term expires, if it is constituted for 2 years, 3 years, whatever, or few months also, on the expiry of that term it stands dissolved. In case of particular partnership, after the purpose is achieved, so if you two builders have come together to construct a certain project, after that project is completed, that partnership stands dissolved. Death of a partner, this may lead to dissolution of a firm, especially if a firm has only two partners. Then insolvency of a partner, that is where a partner is declared as insolvent by the court. Now, which are the different circumstances in which a partnership may be dissolved by the court? This is compulsory dissolution. that is under section 44. Which are those? So insanity of a partner, that is it can become a valid ground for dissolution if a partner is declared to be of unsound mind. Then permanent incapacity of a partner, that is where a partner is unable to perform his duties as a partner. Partner's misconduct, that is wherever he does something which is against the interest of the firm in general. Then that, like for example, breach of trust, embezzlement of funds, whatever, some misconduct by the partner, then it's a broad term. Persistent breach of agreement by a partner, that is where a partner is repeatedly breaking agreements relating to management of the firm, how it is business is conducted on a day-to-day basis. There another partner may file for dissolution. Then transfer of interest to third party, wherever a partner does this, he transfers his interest to a third party either by sale or gift. And wherever such a thing happens, that may amount to dissolution by the court. For this transfer to third party may be done because he wants to even sometimes repay his debts which he is unable to pay, so that may lead to dissolution. Then continuous losses, where a firm is obviously a partnership is formed to share profits, and if a firm is not profitable, then there's no point in it existing. Then any other just and equitable ground, that this depends on the discretionary powers of the court. So that's all with regard to dissolution of a firm and the modes of dissolution. In the next video, we'll be discussing dissolution deed. Thank you for listening, and please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. If you like the content here, do leave your comments and feedback. Thank you. This is Dr. Mariam Narona.